It would help to have the camera in the right spot. There we are. And I've got a huge glare on the. There we go. Is that a little bit better? Everybody can see? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome. So today we're going to be going over the 6 words that'll make you very unhappy as a leader and a business owner. And we're going to be diving deep into this, and I'm going to give you 5 things that can help you with this kind of thing. So, are you curious of what the 5 or 6 words are? They are, and I think women are a little bit more prone to saying this than men, but um, hey, equal opportunity, right? So, the 6 words are never mind, I'll do it myself. That is something will cause you a great deal of unhappiness in your business. Now you're thinking, well, Tina, I'm already unhappy the fact that I'm saying that because clearly the person that I hired is not able to do that, or the person that I needed to help me is not able to do that. So now I'm forced to say, never mind, I'll do it myself. So what ends up happening is we end up, go ahead, ask your questions in the chat. We end up feeling resentful because of unspoken expectations and not being able to really communicate what it is that we are needing and how we need those things done. And so a lot of times we get stuck in our inability to not be able to delegate. Hey, David. So, and what we need to remember is that unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. And when we fall into this trap of, oh, it's just quicker to do it myself. Oh, you know what? Yeah, just give it to me. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Every time that we do that, we're doing a couple of things that are going to cause a great deal of unhappiness for us in our business. Number one is we're robbing that person of learning the skills, learning the ability to handle those things for us. And it also keeps us tied down with things that we need to get off of our plate. So, and this is often due to um, we have high levels of fear. We have high levels of uncertainty of what the process is. Usually, when we're wanting to hang on to things, we and do it ourselves is because we don't have trust. We don't have faith that other people can do it. We also usually don't have the ability to communicate exactly what it is that we need done. So sometimes it's just easier. It's like, oh, I don't have time to tell you. I don't have the ability to explain this to you. So that means we're weak on our communication skills. We're weak and we lack our abilities to, our training capabilities are weak. And we have low emotional control because we are impatient with the process and we're impatient with the other person's ability to learn and our ability to teach them. So these saying these 6 words in your business or as a leader is going to lead to burnout for sure, because if you keep taking on things that you need to be getting off of your plate, or if you feel like you have to know everything yourself, you're going to run into a lot of trouble, and you're also probably not going to be driving the business forward because you're too busy with busy work, right? So now, before we go into some of the solutions, first of all, if this is your first time joining me, my name is Tina and I'm happiness coach. And I help business owners deal with the emotional roller coaster of running a business. And I help you with feelings of depression, anxiety, frustration, anger, resentment, sadness, any of those challenging emotions. And I help you shift those to be a happier you, a happier workplace, and happier team. and happier customers. So all of those things lead to a growing business. So you're definitely going to want to learn to apply these things. And I share from my own personal strength and hope so that you guys can take something and apply it to your life today. I use a trauma-informed change management approach, and change management is the people side or the emotional side of business, and allowing people to buy into whatever process or solution that you guys have. So, and getting them to change willingly, because if you force changes, it doesn't stick. And you always have to be there to enforce those changes. So let's go into the solutions of how do you prevent yourself from saying, never mind, I'll just do it myself, right? Or I'll do it myself. So that is the number one thing. Okay, never mind, I'll do it myself. Those words are going to make you very, very unhappy in your business. So number one, you're going to ask yourself, what do I need to remove from my plate? Not add, right? So we have this tendency to want to add, and usually that is how we either got the leadership position, or we decided to run our own business because we wanted to add things to our plate. We took on extra challenges, we took on extra problems by believing that we could offer a solution. The problem is when you get to those levels, when you get to a leadership or business owner role, you cannot just do it all of yourself, right? Hey, Dari, yes. So you need to be able to start to look at, what is it that I can remove from my plate? And I've always done this, even in my corporate job, even when I didn't have an official leadership title. I always looked for ways to basically clone myself. And I never had the fear of being replaced, because I always knew that there's so much more work to be done, that if I am able to simplify and streamline and systemize a process so that I could take somebody off of the street, bring them in, sit them down at the desk, and they can follow the SOP, the standard operating procedure that I created, that it would free up my time. And so I've never been one of those people that tries to hold my cards to my chest and keep it. It's like, no, this is mine. And if I show you how to do it, then, I'm not going to be valuable. And I'm like, no, that is the worst thing that you could possibly do. In fact, you are much more valuable the more that you can get off of your plate. And it actually strengthens the people around you. By you trying to hold on to everything and do things yourself, you end up really robbing them of that opportunity for growth. And it's only weak leaders that are not able to give their team opportunities. If they always want to look like they're number one, in fact, your team should be number one. And as a leader, it flips into you have to be number one to get to that spot. But then as soon as you get there, everything that got you there, you lose that. And you have to now give that to the team. You have to go from you being number one to making sure everyone on your team is able to excel in that way. So number one, you have to ask yourself, what do I need to remove from my plate? What are the tasks that I can free up some of my time if I didn't have to do that? And for women, this gets really challenging, because I know in corporate, when we would ask, and there would be all kinds of things. It's like, well, I can't really, and it's funny because we would all do this. So all of us, it's like, we all know the value of delegation and that we're supposed to do that and we're supposed to give it to the team. But a couple of things end up happening for us is maybe they make mistakes and we get burnt by it and we get in trouble. We know that if we did it, it wouldn't have been a problem. So that is the catch-22. We have to allow other people to make those mistakes. We also have to make sure that we're providing them enough training and support to be able to learn that stuff. And the challenge is we don't realize how much we actually know until we try to explain things to somebody else. And then we're like, oh, okay, they don't have this background, they don't have this knowledge, they don't have all this kind of stuff. And we tend to minimize the things that we actually know until we start to try and explain that to somebody else. And then we're like, oh, there's all these missing pieces, and I thought this was just easy. And oftentimes what happens there is women end up taking that back and it's like, oh, okay, never mind, this was more complicated than I thought, I'll just do it myself. No, this is the worst thing that you can do, and you're just going to end up being overwhelmed and drained and exhausted and feeling like you have no support. And that is going to make you very unhappy as a business owner. So, when you're looking at these things, you want to look at what can free up my time. And oftentimes, what ends up happening is we look at it, it's like, well, I know this thing will free up my time, but I don't know, there's a couple of complicated steps in there that I can't give it to that person. They don't really understand this, so I'm just going to keep this. And then we find something that's like a 2-minute thing, and then we're like, there's no point, and now I can't give anything to anybody, right? And I've seen women, especially women leaders, we do this, right? We tend to take all of this stuff on ourselves. And I'm not saying men don't do this as well, but I know for sure women are much more guilty of doing this. And so if you don't feel comfortable with all of the task, handing over all of it, try breaking it down into smaller pieces, right? Of actually getting, maybe it's something, at least get them to do the data entry part. Whatever's tedious, time consuming, you want to be able to break it down into smaller chunks and then get them to give it back. You can also use this as part of your training process as well, to here, I want you to do this piece to help them get familiar. And yes, it's going to be, know that in the beginning, it's going to be much more work. It's more work on the front end, but it'll save you more time in the back end. So make sure that you plan for it. Make sure that you allow time for you to be able to take the time to say, I'm taking this task off of my plate. You know who you're going to delegate that to, and you have a process that you're going to go through to be able to train them so that they are able to take those things on themselves. And so you want to identify the things that you want to remove from your plate, and then identify a process to be able to transfer that knowledge to somebody else. Okay. The second thing is while you're doing any of these tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, if it's a repetitive thing, you want to look for ways to optimize and streamline those processes, especially if they're repetitive or tedious tasks. 3 things that I do. So 3 things that I do is I look at how long something is taking me. And then I look to see how can I streamline this process so that I can get it done faster, if I can get more organization to it, if I can systemize it, all of those different things of really narrowing down how long something takes. It's like, okay, what took me so long in this process this time that I did it? Oh, I didn't get that report from this person and I need it done at this time. And so you start looking for where were the little roadblocks, where were the hiccups in the process as you were going through it, and then starting to tighten and narrow those things in. And you start dialing those things in so that it makes it much easier. Hey, Manuel. So you want to look at how long, and okay, when you made those changes and you did it again the next time, did it actually improve the time? Did it make it smoother in the process? Did it make more sense, or did you jump around a little bit? And how do you dial those things in? So, because when you can get it straight in your own mind, then it makes it much easier for you to delegate that piece. So always, whenever you're doing something that only you can do, even if it's something that only you can do right now, I want you to start learning to go through that process of just kind of optimizing, streamlining, and making it like cookie cutter, that it's the same repetitive task. Your goal on any task that you're doing is to make it as repetitive and boring as possible. Okay? Because if you can do that, then you've systemized it, you've streamlined it in the fastest possible way, right? So you look for ways to time that and gamify it for yourself, and this helps. This has always helped me at being able to create a systematic process. And once I have that, then I document it. You don't try to document it too much as you're going through the process, because you haven't got it optimized yet. You haven't got it dialed in enough. And so you want to definitely try to figure out the road bumps first and streamline it. And then once you like, okay, there's no bumps, and now it's just a matter of doing this quicker, right? How can I get this done faster? Okay, number 3. Identify the tasks that only you can do. So many times we get stuck in doing things that, well, I could give this to other people, but we end up doing that, and then ends up we don't have time to do the things that only we can do. So focusing on what are the things that only I can do. And oftentimes what happens as we're trying to delegate is like, well, only I can do that. It's like, oh, that's too confidential. I can't give that piece to the team. I can't do this. There's all kinds of reasons of why we tell ourselves we can't get somebody else to help us or do it. And we end up saying, never mind, I'll do it myself. And then we end up feeling overworked, burnt out, and very unhappy in what's going on. So what we want to do is identify, only I can do this piece. However, even as you're going through that, only I can do this piece, is what pieces can I get other people to help provide this? How can I systemize this so that they're feeding me the information so that I have all the data that I need to be able to work on this? And if it is truly only something that you can do, then identifying what is it that you need to remove from your plate so that you can focus on that one thing. Okay. Number 4, you're going to want to focus on your quick wins. So many times I've seen this happen. I've done it myself. Is, oh, but it only takes me 2 minutes. I can just do that one. Oh, that one only takes me 5 minutes. Not a big deal. I'll take care of it. I can just get it done quickly. And what ends up happening is we end up focusing on all these little things, and we feel accomplished, but meanwhile we've burnt ourselves out, and now we don't have time for the big thing that only we can do. So learning to take those 2-minute, 5-minute, 3-minute tasks that don't seem like a big deal, and really start, okay, I just need you to take care of this. I need you to take care of that. And being able to walk through and train somebody else on doing that, and then being able to tweak that process as it goes along as well. So that you are not only giving them that stuff, but is that a much more efficient process? Now, they might be slower at it than you. They may have more questions. They may not understand why they're doing it. So making sure that we have the right training and feedback loops in place so that when they're going through those kind of things, that they come back and they can get that feedback and then be able to do that. Your goal is to make them better than you, not the same. Your goal is to transfer all the information that you can, all of your knowledge, as much as you can, to them, and giving them a way to come back to you when they have certain questions of what is it that I need you to do, right? And number 5, so training. So obviously, in order to get some of this stuff off of your plate, you need to be able to train. So let me just see here. Okay. Facebook can see this now. Okay. And I think my cat's going to start yelling now. All right. So, back up here. Thanks. All right. So, sorry, camera issues. Training. So, three tips that I have for training, of how I've done training, and I've done a lot of training over the 30 years in transport and logistics, and being able to understand how to train different people, right? There's different ways of doing it, and I'm not going to dive into all of that. I'm going to keep it short and sweet of 3 things. So number 1, I usually get them to watch me. So whatever the process is that I'm doing, I want you to watch how I'm doing it and ask questions as you're going along, as you're watching me. This allows me to kind of point to the screen of like, hey, I'm looking up in this top right corner. This is where you click this button. This is where you click that button. Oh, no, it's over here. You have to sort in this way. You have to do whatever in the system in this particular way. And I show them how I'm doing it. And they watch. And then next, I sit and I watch them do it. So they now mirror what I've done. And this allows them to kind of start getting the motor skills. They start looking at where on the screen things are, because that is some of the initial things that slow you down when you're learning a new process. It's like, well, where do I look? Where do I focus? And I find that's one thing that when people are training, they forget to tell people. They just say, well, click the button. And the poor person that's learning, it's like, well, am I looking in the top right, bottom right, left? Where is this button? Oh, you have to right click and then you see that button. It's like, oh, okay, well, these are all these little annoying things that end up slowing down the process. So directing people, even like, look here, do this, do that, all this very detailed stuff in how you train. So having them watch me first, and then I watch them, and then I kind of guide and correct as I go. And then the third piece is I get them to explain it back to me as if I was a brand new person. So once I've seen that they've been able to go through the process and that they understand it, then I get them to explain it to me as if I was the person that they are training. So I would sit at the desk, they tell me what it is that they need, I need to do, and get them to explain it. And I would ask a lot of questions of like, okay, well, why am I doing that? And it helps solidify exactly, thanks Alex, it helps solidify exactly why they are doing it, and they understand not only the process, but how to explain that process. So it gives them another layer of certainty in that process, and it gives you a layer of certainty and the ability to correct or tweak some of the things. And it's not so much the other person. I often find that when I have to do that tweaking, that correcting, it's something that I've omitted or something that I forgot to explain. And so it allows me that additional chance to be able to clarify that. And going through this kind of training process allows for a lot more certainty, a lot more trust, and then they also have the ability to ask those questions. And should something else come up that we haven't covered, they know to come and be able to talk with me on those kind of things. When I do this, and when I have that kind of training for somebody, then I'm much more likely to delegate to them. I'm much more likely to take something else that I need off of my plate. They're also excited at the opportunity to learn and grow because they had a pleasant experience being trained and taught something new. So now your team also is excited to take something else on rather than it being, oh my goodness, got attacked by a moth. um, Rather than it being something that they feel like they just got dumped on, right? You know, so if you turn this into a pleasant learning experience for them, they're much more willing to take on new things. They also understand and you can appreciate how much time you get back by them being able to help you out. So always come at it from that kind of approach of like, oh man, you are really helping me out by taking this piece on, and I can't, I'm so grateful for that. So having that level of gratitude with your employees, even if it's something like, oh man, you should fucking be doing this anyway, right? This is what I hired you for and you're still not doing it. If you go down that road, that's definitely angry. We have to go back to the beginning part where I talked about, if you're not delegating stuff, if you're not giving them those opportunities to grow, it's usually because of our own fear, not because of their lack of skill. It is our own weaknesses that prevent us from doing that. It is our weak communication, our lack of ability to train people properly, and low emotional control on our own part. So when we fix those three things, we build our communication skills, we increase our patience and tolerance, and we also build our training skills to be able to show somebody the information and download that information to somebody else so that they have the ability to be stronger. I never have to worry about whether or not somebody's going to supersede me. If they have more skills, more knowledge, great, go ahead. If you want to go in the fast lane, go in the fast lane. That's not the point. The point is I know what skills I bring to the table, and the minute that I can take this off of my plate, I know I'm now just going to go learn something even harder. I'm going to go learn something even that's going to make me even stronger, even more valuable. If I'm too busy hanging on to the things that I already know and trying to be the best at that, then I am robbing myself from the ability to learn something new and strengthen me and my value. And I also rob myself of building a strong team that they're happy with being able to learn and grow and stretch and not feel like they're just getting stuff dumped on them. So guys, those are the 6 words that will make you very unhappy in your business. And then we went over the 5 things that you can do to prevent those things from happening and to make it a happier experience for the people that are around you on your team, that are taking over some of the things that you're delegating, and you're happier because now it frees up your time to be able to take on more and focus on the things that only you are capable of doing, to be able to move the business forward and for you to be the best possible leader that you can be. So guys, if you're just joining me now, make sure that you go to my YouTube channel, which is Coach Tina B 125. I'm going to be uploading the replay there, and you can rewatch the training and get the takeaways, and you'll make sure that you subscribe so that you are notified when I upload the training. Okay, so guys, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope this was helpful. We'll talk to you later. Have a great night. Bye.